This is Daniel O'Reilly of Drogheda United. You are watching Irish Footy Vlogs. Please subscribe to the channel.
Hi everyone and welcome back to Irish Footy Vlogs. This week I'm joined by Jamie and we're going to talk about the Premier Division games that went by in the First Division. Jamie, how are you?
All good, Daz. How are you?
All good, man. That's good to hear. I suppose we'll start off with probably the most entertaining game out of the few, the Harps and Sligo game. And that was 2-2. And Sadiki got sent off really early in the game. And obviously Kenny and Moorhan got the goal, and Blythe and O'Sullivan got really late goals for Harps. They came in the 86th and 90 plus 4 minutes. So, that's a serious comeback for Harps. Jamie, take us through this game. We'll start off with the red card. Obviously, that was really early in the game in the first few minutes, and he got sent off. Especially a player of Sadiki's quality for Harps. You don't want to lose one of your better performers, shall we say, every week.
Yeah, definitely. First of all, it was an amazing game to watch, and if anyone hasn't watched it, it could be worth watching back during the week. But yeah, like you're saying, the game started with a red card straight away. 5 minutes in, Sadiki obviously got sent off. Stonewall red card, no debate.
Yeah,
definitely. And I think as soon as I saw a red card and Harps down to 10 men, I'm thinking, Sligo are going to run through these. Finn Harps are a team that relies on the defence so much. With Webster, with Sadiki, and obviously with McGinley in net. But, I'm a bit disappointed in Sadiki. I think, how bad Sligo were in that second half. If Harps were there to capitalise with 11 men, they could have even got 3 points, which is surprising, I guess. But anyway, it started very even. Kenny obviously missed a penalty. And once again, there was probably shouts that could have been another red card. But now with the rule, you can't get a penalty and a red card, so they probably got lucky with that one.
Yeah, that's very important to mention, because he could have been off, it could have been another red in that game, but as you said, when you get the penalty, you don't get the red, so yeah, and then they missed the penalty.
Yeah, Kenny obviously missed the penalty, but luckily for him, he scored in the second half, so that would keep his head up. But yeah, Kenny obviously, I thought he was good in the game. He ran the chance very well. He was always an outball for Sligo, whenever they were under pressure. And then obviously Moran's been good all season. He's probably been one of the players that you can credit Sligo for, keeping Sligo in that top three, because there's been weeks where Sligo have played very poorly and only a handful of players are getting consistent 7 and 8 out of 10. And Moran's one of them for sure. But anyway, the game sort of slipped away from Sligo. Sean Boyd, like you're saying, got a typical Sean Boyd goal, 85th minute to put Harps back in the tie. And then last minute, Carl O'Sullivan. Oh my God, the scenes. I've never heard Finn Park so loud.
This game will probably feel like, a win for Harps. Firstly, I think this is very well going in half time, 0-0, with a player down against Sligo, who have players that can hurt any team in this division, this league. They can, on their day, even in, when they're not having really the best of games, they can still come up with a moment of brilliance to get a goal. So to go in 0-0, they should be happy with that. And then, I think Sligo kind of just going through the motions a little bit, in the first half. And in second half, and yes, they got the goals, but I think it's because Harps are kind of pinned back and they're just afraid to kind of go forward a little bit, because they're fighting to stay up. There's only 2 or 3 points separating them from Waterford, so every point is a point closer to their survival, and it's going to be between them and Waterford, but who wasn't that playoff, and you're going to want to try and avoid that as much as you can. So you have to come back from being 2 down to get the 2 late goals. That's brilliant for Harps, and they'll probably give them confidence now going forward for the latter part of the season. The confidence that they'll need to, try and stay up, because it's in their hands now to try and stay up, because it's Waterford that's down there, and they're just above them.
Yeah, exactly. I think once again it shows 2 opposite sides of the spectrum. Finn Harps, they have all this grit, they have all this nastiness about them. Whereas Sligo, that's probably something that they lack. Using the 2-0 lead in the derby it's poor, to be honest with you. For a team that are trying to stay in that top 3 and trying to guarantee Europe, you can't be doing that. When you look at Finn Harps, they look at the defence. They're solid. You can't say the same about the Sligo defence recently, which is a shame.
Yeah. For the last few weeks and even months, they've been conceding goals, and even just silly goals that a team of their quality shouldn't be conceding. It's just lack of a team effort, really, at times in the backs anyway, I think, and just goals that took everyone away, I think, could have been well avoided. But that's been kind of their season so far, hasn't it? They've having great runs and then poor runs and then great runs again, and they're still third. They've got 47 points, but there's other teams knocking on that door now. Derry have 45, which we'll go on to next, and Drogs are only just below that again with 43, and then the Bows are in the middle of them then again. So by no means has this job done. I know we said a few weeks ago on the show that Europe might be outplaced for Bows, but it's looking at it like it now. If teams can keep putting pressure on Sligo and Sligo keep messing results up like against Harps, so they should be getting all 3 points. They're going to put themselves in the stick of butter, and they could miss out on third. I know fourth now, more than likely will guarantee a European spot, which is great for anyone who finishes fourth. But Sligo want to stay in third, like considering where they've been this season, and they don't want to be slipping up like they are now. And this is going to give other teams momentum and thinking to go, we could try and catch Sligo out now better, because they had a big point difference, and now they don't. It's after slipping away over time.
Yeah, and I think the most worrying thing from a Sligo's perspective would be, it's themselves that are making this lead like more narrow. Like every week you can pick out players that are playing with this lazy attitude. It seems like they're not tracking back. Like I don't want to single any players out, but I think I have to. Romeo Parks the last few weeks falling off a cliff. Like he hasn't been tracking back at all last few weeks. It's crazy. You have young Johnny Kenny who puts in the work. He's not the finished article yet, but you have to give him credit. He tries every week. They tried to bring Andre Wright in. Andre Wright, good for the first few weeks. He's probably flown under the radar the last few weeks. Hasn't maybe influenced games as much as he did previously. Yeah, but they have too many passengers, I think, at Sligo, and going into next season now, I know I'm getting a bit ahead of myself, and they probably want to get rid of a few.
You think so?
Definitely.
Yeah, I think though, with the likes of Parks, maybe he might have been told to stay up top because he's so big and awkward and strong and fast.
Maybe, yeah.
At break he's up there, so he might have been told to stay up there. But there could have been a few players carrying knocks too. Could have been reasons why, but I am no means making excuses for Sligo's players. But yeah, look, they are where they are, but they are having a good season nonetheless, and they've had some very good spells in their third, and if they can keep on and stay there, it'll be a good season for them. So well done to Harps. They carved out a result in the end. They got a draw. They probably would have took that at the start of the game. Two very late goals, excellent stuff. Sligo at third with 47 points. So moving on to the next game, then we're going to look at Drogheda 1, Derry 0. Obviously key to the match for this, everyone. So check that out already if you haven't. It was a very good vlog, and he got right in with the fans, and he got a lot of good video coverage on that. So definitely check that out if you haven't already. I didn't really watch that one, but watch the highlights of the match. It'd be better than that. But yeah, well done, Keith. That was a very good vlog. Derry are fourth with 45 points. Interestingly, Bastard came on in this game, I believe. And Drogheda are 6 with 43 points. So both teams, are having a good season. And Phillips got the goal for Drogheda in the 39th minute. Jamie, talk us through this game. Obviously, Phillips got the goal and Drogheda won 1-0 in first half goal, and second half, scrappy enough, 0-0. Well, for the second half, obviously Drogheda won 1-0 overall. Take us through this. What do you make of this game?
Yeah, it was a scrappy game. Probably wasn't the best game from a technical point of view, but Drogheda did what they needed to do. They got one chance in the whole game, and they capitalised on it. And then they were able to, keep their 1-0 lead up to the final whistle, which is a big 3 points for Drogheda now. Now suddenly the talks about them maybe getting drawn into a playoff are completely gone. I think they're definitely safe now after that result. But yeah, the game overall, very scrappy, not many chances for either side. Derry were probably the better side, I have to say.
Yeah.
But that can happen from time to time. If we look back 2 weeks ago, Derry played Pats. Pats were all over Derry. Derry got their chances and capitalised. So, it all evens out over a season. But yeah, good performance by Derry. Lacked that final pass, that final shot that really would have tested Adamusu. But, overall, I wouldn't really be thinking of any warning signs that Derry, the goals will come if you're playing like that every week. But from a Drogheda point of view, they defended very well. They're looking like a unit. The likes of Dane Massey, I know he got a yellow card, but he looked calm throughout the game, I have to say. Daniel O'Reilly at the back, who's had a very good season. They've been solid. Adamusu, great shot stopper. They're really building a good base up at Drogheda, and for a first season to already be this solid at the back is the main thing, and they have something to build on now next year.
Yeah, definitely. I do apologise to everyone watching it from my phone falling. I can't manage to keep it standing up this morning. Whatever's wrong with it, it's trying to jump all around the place. Yeah, look, that's very good analysis of the game and Drogheda overall. Like, you know, and I think it's, if they can keep some of the players like Musu for next season, I think that'll be key for them, because, you know, he's a superb young keeper and he'll definitely have options next season. There, the clubs will be looking at him. Just like Derry, they've got a lot of good players too, players that's going to be coming into an already good side. So very interesting times for both of these teams going forward. And like, they'll be, you know, it's the latter part of the season now, where the teams are now is probably, hopefully, whereabouts most teams will probably finish. But you know, Derry being fourth and Drogheda being sixth, they both would have taken that at the start of the season anyway. Like, definitely for fans of them teams, let us know anyway down below if you're a Drogheda fan, Derry fan, would you have taken fourth and sixth where you are at now? But you have to be happy with that. Like, Rory Higgins has came in, he's done a smashing job at Derry. I've said it every week. I actually was one of the very few who said I thought it was a bit mad leaving like the international setup to go to the League of Ireland. You know, like he was leaving a full-time League Ireland contract to go to the League of Ireland. I was saying I probably wouldn't have done that, but he did it, and you know, he really bore his fruits. Like, he's come in and he's flourished, because he could have very easily had a bad run with Derry and been unemployed, and probably still unemployed. But no, he didn't. He came in, he was confident, stuck to his guns, and ever since he got that win over Bows, a 2-1 win with the 2 late goals, I think it's really changed their season around. And yeah, he's done a very, very good job up there. So very good results for Drogheda. But Derry already feel a bit hard done by. Like you said, they were the better team in the game, I think, as well. But it shows the slim margins of football. One chance, one goal, a win, 3 points. You know, you take that on into the next round. Like, so it's very, very good for Drogheda. So well done to them. Moving on into the next game, then we have Longford 0, Shamrock Rovers 1. Longford defended for their lives in this one. We were saying before the show. What do? You know, the bottom of the table, they're relegated, they've gone down. They're playing against, you know, the league leaders. Didn't want to hiding or trashing. It took the Shamrock Rovers a while to get into it, really. Like, Longford were pinned back and Shamrock Rovers kept going at them, but you know, it took to the 66th minute to get a breakthrough in the game, and obviously Gary Brook came up with the goal and got a good goal for Rovers, and to see the game out and win 1-0. What did you make of this game, Jamie?
Yeah, first of all, you know, full credit to the Longford players this season. Against Shamrock Rovers, they played 4 games, and every single game has been a 1-0 loss for Longford. So they're in every single game. And I have to say, I remember 3 of them were probably last-minute winners. So that just shows the slim margins from a team that are bottom of the league and a team that are top of the league. It's a few magic moments that really separate them. But in this game, Rovers definitely deserved to win the game. They're the better side, like you're saying. Longford held on to a draw. They were happy enough to sit back, 11 men behind the ball. But you know, full credit to them. Full credit to the fans of both teams. Actually, good atmosphere considering there wasn't too much to play for. But anyway, there's a few positives for Shamrock Rovers though. Like, obviously you have Graham Burke coming back and scoring. Like, he's been out of the squad the last few weeks with an injury. So for him to come back and get a goal, that can only be good for his confidence. Then as well, you have to have Lee Grace, who actually came on. He's been out for the last few weeks as well. So that's 2 players that are going to be back in the setup now. They look like they're back at 100%. So that can only be good for Shamrock Rovers. We all know how much squad depth they have at the minute. So with these 2 players on top of it now, they're a different beast. And as for Longford, you know, all these Longford players are playing for contracts next year at Premier Division sides. Like, all these players like Dylan Grimes, Aider Irvin, they're all hoping that other Premier Division sides pick them up. So although they haven't got anything to play for with Longford anymore, they're playing for themselves. They're playing for staying in the Premier Division next year. And showed, you know, like last night against the league leaders, they know people are going to be tuning in from other clubs and watching this game. And they made a very good account of themselves, and they should be very proud. They were unlucky, I guess, to maybe not end up conceding, but over the course of the game, you know, Rovers were better. But it would have been nice, you know, with all the hard work defensively, for them to finally get a result against Rovers instead of losing 1-0. But
it would have been great if Longford had got like a last minute winner over Shamrock Rovers.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, brilliant game. Although it was only a 1-0, you know, it was good to see both teams really going for the game, really putting everything into it, and credit to both sides.
I think a lot of people will be disappointed in a way that Longford have gone. We all like having teams outside of Dublin come up into the Premier Division and, you know, have it spread out throughout the country more. Like, we do miss our Corks, we miss our Galway, we missed all them teams that were in it. With all of their back, let us know below too if you think, if you'd like in the future for us to go back to like, a 12-team league. I certainly would like that anyway. I know it benefits the first division, which we're going to move on to now. Better to have more teams in it, but you could bring in 1 or 2 teams into the first division, like even have a Car YT in it or someone else. It'd be great if we had a bigger league for both leagues, but it would be great if we had more further teams spread out through the league, like Longford, Loans, even like Kilkenny came back, but that's a conversation for another day, isn't it, Jamie?
Definitely.
But that would be great, if they come back. And I would be disappointed when Longford have gone down. They have a nice little ground there. They've got very good people working throughout the club. They've got a lot of good volunteers. They've got a lot of things going on. They've got a lot of good things going on at that club. So best luck to them next season in the first division, and hopefully to come back up, and hopefully some of their better players move on and get either secure a contract in the first division and in the Premier Division, with other clubs, or to help take Longford back up. Obviously for Rovers too, it's great. Like you said, that Lee Grace and Burke came back, and they're 2 very, very good players that everyone probably like in their team. And it's great for them to come back, and like Lee Grace keeping a clean sheet and Graham Burke getting the goal. It's works both ways, defender and attacker. They'll both be very happy with that. So that's good for Rovers. It's good for them overall. So like I said, best luck for next season. Just moving on to the first division then, Jamie. I suppose we'll briefly touch on this because both sides didn't really have much to play for, if I want to be frankly honest about it. UCD bet Treaty United 2-1. Obviously Kerrigan got the goal again for UCD. He's been amongst the goals. He's having a very good season. He's been with the Irish set up now and all, and he could be someone that'll move on next season. Like we're saying, there's a few clubs interested in him, like the Sligo, Pats. I'd even say Bows. I'd go as far as Bows. Why wouldn't they be interested? Everyone would want Kerrigan. He's a very good player. And Galway obviously bet Bray 1-0. Just looking at UCD, obviously, they're in a playoff position now. They did play a smashing football, like we've always said in the show, and the Bet Treaty side, as we said throughout the show this year as well, that are very, very well organised and very, very good. But how do you fancy UCD's chances now in the playoffs? Like obviously, we're at the end of the season now in Division 1, so where the teams kind of fit is kind of going to be where they're at. But a good win for UCD, 2-1. I think they have a good chance of making the playoff final anyway.
Yeah, I think so as well. For one of the first times, usually people look at UCD and they say, yeah, good football, but they haven't got the experience and the grit. But I think this year, although they've got a team of young players, Sam Todd at the back's a great example. He's played up in Finn Harps before this, came down on a scholarship with Premier Division experience, and he's been a good leader. He's, a typical Finn Harps player. He's a tall, lanky centre half. He heads everything. He's just brilliant. And Finn Harps probably UCD probably lacked a player like that over the past few years. And he's been good. He probably hasn't been talked about as much as, the attacking players, whether it be Keeley, Kerrigan, or Doyle, or Colin Whelan, of course. But a key figure, definitely. And I think now when you're looking at UCD's chances in the playoffs, you need players like that would be able to defend for their lives if you're 1-0 up over 2 legs or something like that. But UCD will hurt everyone in the playoffs, UCD will score in every game in the playoffs. I can guarantee you that. Like UCD, they create chances. They've got probably one of the best natural goal scorers in the league playing up top. So how can they not be feared by every team, including whether it be Waterford or Finn Harps? Like they're a scary proposition.
Like you have to definitely say that. Like they would have scored obviously way more goals than they would have, albeit different divisions, yes, of course. But UCD, they have a goal scorer. Obviously, improvement Division 1 level. Premier Division is different, obviously, but Waterford or Harps would have to be fair in any of these teams that's coming, like that they're going to play against, because so much at stake. The only thing I think the likes of Waterford and Harps will have is they'll have a bit more experience maybe than these teams that are going to be playing them. And like I think if it's Harps that ends up in the playoff, I think they'll stay up. But I think if it's Waterford, I think there could be question marks over the game. It could be really a 50-50 game, and it could be whoever shows up on the night. But
I agree with you there. Yeah.
I really don't want Harps or Waterford to go down. I really like both teams, and it's great to have teams that are set outside of Dublin. But equally, I wouldn't mind UCD coming up. I really like how they play, and it's easy. It's an easy game to get to. Obviously, the UCD Bowl, and it's big and can fit a lot of fans in. So it's like having a home game for you. I know they've got no real fans because they're a college team. Obviously, that's that's the way they are. And equally then with Galway and Bray, like they're good teams that are outside of Dublin too that I'd love to see come up, and
Treaty as well.
Treaty up there to have a shout as well, like absolutely. But yeah, look, definitely, and especially look at any of them teams that's in the playoffs now. UCD obviously will have a serious squad shake-up, I believe, next season. Obviously, they'll lose a lot of key performers this season, but when happened there, it's the same story with them every season. It's just the way they are. Moving on to the only other first division game that was played, was Galway 1 against Bray. If any Galway fans are watching this now, try and correct my pronunciation. Warrer.
Better you than me, that.
He got the goal for Galway in a 1-0 win against Bray. Yeah, look, straightforward for Galway. You could say that. Obviously, they've had a very, very good season and kept a clean sheet at the goal. And they'll be looking forward to the playoffs, Jamie.
Definitely, both teams will. But Galway, recently they've really improved their form. They're really, they're only a few points behind Shells, although the league is over. There's only one game left. But throughout the course of the season, people were almost mentioning the first division as Shelburne and then the rest. Whereas as we come to the end, there's only a few points in it. So that shows how good Galway have been. Everyone knows John Caulfield at the helm. He's good at organising that side. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to win football games. He knows how to win big games. And once again, momentum's on their side. They're beating Bray. They're getting wins in the last few weeks. And once again, going into the playoffs, momentum's huge. Like when you're playing a team like Harps or Waterford that have been losing more games than they're winning, and you come against a team that are so high on confidence, that's another scary proposition. You're talking about experience, but it's all well and good having experience when you're losing games. You're not as upbeat as you would be if you're winning games in the first division. So that's another thing you have to look at as well, I think. Galway, I don't know. I think it's been probably a bit of a transition year. Caulfield obviously came in last year. It wasn't his squad of players. This year he signed a few of his own players, but I think it's still a very young squad down there at Galway, and they will get better over time. And I think if they don't go up this year, there'll be some force in the first division next year.
Yeah, definitely. They'll probably even be in for a shout of winning the first division next year. Like it's obviously going to be Longford. It's gone down, and then if one of the first division teams wins the playoff, it'll obviously be probably Waterford or Harps to go down. So if we between them, there won't be like a super force like Shelburne, and realistically, there probably won't be. So it'll definitely give them a better shout of trying to win the league anyway, and hopefully they do. If they don't go up, it'll be great to see. But I think as well as that, just outside the playoffs, the likes of Athlone probably feel a bit harder by they weren't too far off the playoff in the end. They nearly scraped it. If they had it picked up, I'm saying what ifs and cut-offs, we can all say that till the cows come home. But they weren't too far off playoffs in the end, so hopefully they can keep their bunch of squads together and maybe push for next season. And they could be in a shout in the playoffs in next season to keep everyone together, I think.
Definitely, yeah. I think Adrian Carberry will probably feel a bit hard done by there at Athlone, but they have a new manager, a new star, and once again, like I was saying with Caulfield, next season will be Athlone's first chance to sign new players under this new manager. So it will be interesting to see what squad Doolin can really assemble. But like Athlone, once again, like you're saying, they're a club outside of Dublin, although it's only about an hour and a half away. It's a club that represents a different area in Ireland, which we need. And I hope they can improve next year and make a playoff shout. But as for Bray, I had high hopes for Bray coming into the season. They've probably underperformed a little bit, although they are in the playoffs and anything can happen. But I think Cronin might be a bit disappointed with his season this year. Like you had a lot of good players that are in that team and a lot of goal scorers, I'd say as well. Like poor Gary Shaw struggling with injuries again this year. Everyone knows how good of a player he is. Ryan Graydon out on the right, Brandon Kavanagh. These are top class players. And, I'm not one to call for anyone's job, not at all. But, he could be very worried at the end of the year, especially if they do not make a playoff run. But anyway, we'll see how it goes.
Absolutely. Jamie, that was excellent stuff. Thanks for coming on. Please subscribe to the channel, lads, if you're new, and let us know your thoughts below. Let us know your thoughts on the games that we went through, and who do you think will go up in the playoffs? Who do you think will win? And if it was for you to be Waterford or Harps, who would you rather see go down? Unfortunately, one has to go down, and well, if they win either, they'll stay up. So let us know your thoughts below. Thanks, everyone.
Cheers, guys.
Ole, 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 ole.